Nigeria billionaire Abdulsamad Rabiu, the second richest man in Nigeria and the third richest man on the continent of Africa, was denied entry into South Africa.
Hello everyone, welcome back. So this video have been trending online of Nigerians wanting to get access into South Africa with an expired visa. Simply because they have money, they think South Africa is one of those countries where you will just come and throw money and they let you in. Guys, this is one of the reasons why I so much love South African. South African will keep on telling you to your face that your money means nothing to them. If you convert your naira to rand, your million naira to rand, you're gonna get 500 rand. That's what South Africans said. Guys, I so much love the way South African system is working. Anyways, guys, listen to what our brother have to say about this. If you haven't subscribed, do it to like, share, and subscribe. And my reaction will be at the end of this video. So please stay tuned.
In Cape Town, when he came for a conference just last year, Abdulsamad made this statement at the Rwanda Economic Summit, where various African business leaders were invited. You see, one thing I find very tragic, or I could not get my head around it, is this. Why is this border situation in Africa not been resolved for so long? For over 60 years, for over 6 decades, Africans have closed this border to fellow African citizens. This is the second richest black man in the world. One of the biggest industrialists on the continent of Africa was not allowed into South Africa because his visa has expired. He was turned back. A man who flew with his private jet into South Africa, but was turned back because the visa has expired. Whereas Europeans were allowed into South Africa. He said he stood at immigration and he was not allowed in. And he saw Europeans coming into the country without a visa. Why he, an African, the third richest man on the continent, worth about $12 billion, was not allowed? I think it's very tragic. Situations like this tells you that Africa is cooked. I don't know what we are protecting. What are we protecting from each other? We have remained like this for over 65 years. You see, African leaders and African people are people who are not receptive to change, who wants the status quo to remain for 1 century. See, Africans are very, very reluctant to change. You see, the European Union has been expanding, bringing more people into the European Union because the leaders of Europe understood clearly that the success, the standard of living, the economical power of the European Union, the political power of the European Union will be stronger if everyone becomes part of the union. The standard of living of the citizens will improve tremendously. The interaction of European citizens, cultural interaction will improve the way of life of Europeans. That is why they've continued economic and political integration. But in Africa, nothing is happening. For over 65 years, African leaders have refused to open up the borders. I don't know what they are protecting. What is there to be protected? Rather than African leaders to open up the African economy in order for Africans to be able to travel around the continent and do businesses, cultural exchange, see the continent of Africa for the betterment of African people. This will create understanding. This will create economic integration on the continent. But African leaders have refused to open up their border because they are protecting it from the respective Africa. I today can decide to go to South Africa tomorrow without needing a visa because I hold a European passport. How crazy is that? That a man who has significant opportunity to invest in the South African economy or any economy on the continent of Africa was refused entry into South Africa tells you a lot. That the reason why Africa is called the dark continent, the reason why that continent is cooked, you can see clearly that is the reason. We have leaders who cannot adjust to the current realities. That this continuation of borders around the African continent would not yield anything positive or benefit to the African people or the African continent. There has to be an open border system within the continent of Africa in order for Africa to achieve full economic liberation reduce the levels of poverty, encourage cultural exchange, reduce crisis and conflict among Africans because Africans are not traveling among themselves. There is so much perception, negative perception between African people because there is lack of travel or connectivity within Africa. Dangote said it will cost him more to ship a cargo from Lagos to Ghana for him to import a cargo from Spain to Nigeria. It tells you that we have structural problem on the continent, and this can only be solved when there is a union within the African continent, where there is economic integration, political integration. This will definitely reduce the various bottleneck, you know, uh, preventing growth of the African continent. I think Abdulsamad Rabio is absolutely shocked and devastated that a man of his caliber would be rejected from entering a country in Africa. Thank you.
So, guys, what do you all think about what is happening? This matter of these Somalian people in South Africa is really giving me headache. Not just last time, one of the Somalians' brother is going for mayor. Is it mayor or chancellor in South Africa? He wants to be the chancellor in South Africa. Can you imagine? He is asking South Africans to vote for him to be a chancellor in South Africa. We're not talking about the one that almost crowned himself king in South Africa. We have not even finished settling the matter of the Igbo people. Another one has come out, they call themselves Somalians. I don't have any problem with Somalians. I don't know much about Somalians, but they are messing with South African, which is not good. I don't like it at all. Anything that gives South African stress also gives me stress. So please, with all due respect, you people should try and respect South African laws. For a betterment, for a better South African tomorrow, which you all are staying in it, people should try as much as possible to respect South African laws. This is the same thing that these people did in America that made Trump. You know, that man doesn't take shit from anyone. He just poop and deport them. You don't give me headache in my own country. That is what South Africans are supposed to be doing. But South Africans are just so lenient with all these foreigners. These people are just soft-hearted. When I see things like this, it gets me angry. Because when this illegal foreigners want to deal with you people, they don't think about, oh, these people are very nice, let us don't do this type of things in their country. They've messed up South Africa country. They have messed up your country. Yet you people are just there. You are not doing anything today. You're just, they will change. Those people will never change. You have to send them back home. Let them go back and rest. That's not their country. You people should go back and rest. Go to your country and rest there. Anyways, guys, see you on my next video. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe.